Hi, Tim Two Wheels here, and on this how-to video, we're going to be installing the Oxford Heaterz Premium Heated Grips on my KLR650. Stick around, we'll get started right after this. Now, the Oxford heated grips have a really good reputation. They come in essentially the three different styles of grip. This happens to be the touring. Really the only difference between the three, you can get a touring grip, you can get a sport grip, and then you can also get an adventure grip. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't see that big of a difference in the grips between the three, so it really doesn't matter which one you get. Just pick one that you like. Okay, at this point, let's go ahead and unbox the grips. Now, the difference between the standard Oxford Heaterz and the premium grip is essentially the controller that comes with it. So unboxing, we have a fitting and user's instructions for the grips. And on here, this shows you the three different styles of grips. This is the adventure grip, the touring, and the sport grip. In the package, we get the actual grip, so let's set that aside. And here is the left-hand grip. And the cable, you can see it comes out of the grip. The cabling is nice. It's got a molded finish, and that goes down. So on the left-hand side, it would face down. They also come with nice plugs. So there's our left-hand grip. We have some extra wiring here. Looks like they run the controller. This is the right-hand grip. Again, the throttle grip. And you can see they are color coded, R right, and then the yellow sticker has an L on it for the left. So we have our grips, documentation, and the controller. They refer to it as their intelligent heat controller, and it is for a couple of reasons. Now, Oxford, there's a lot of good videos out there that go over the details of this. I'm not going to go over every detail and what this is capable of, but essentially it comes on, you have your on-off, and then you can crank it up. You'll see LED indicators that show you 30%, 40, 50, 75, and then of course 100%. And I've looked at these in the store, at 100%, these guys get hot. So there is even a warning on the box that you don't want to ride with just bare skin when they're heating, because they can get hot, to wear gloves with them. But the reason this is an intelligent controller is that it will go into a low power mode and even turn itself off. Actually, if the battery doesn't have enough power to support the heated grips, it will actually shut itself off to avoid draining your battery. So elsewhere in the pack, you get a few cable ties for managing your wiring. There is an adhesive sticky pad that's made to go on the back of the controller. And then you also have some glue, some super glue. Looks like just generic super glue used for adhering the grips. And the last little package here is some mounting hardware for mounting the bracket. And then this bracket is designed, as you can see by this little instruction that's included with it, to mount to your either your brake or your mirror mount, your brake mount, and then provide you with a mounting surface for the controller to set up near your grip on your handlebar, so that you can more easily control this. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to consider several different mounting options, and we'll review that with you. But I may actually even just mount this directly to my fairing or somewhere on my panel. I'm not sure yet. As we work through it, we'll take a look at various mounting options. So the documentation looks to be fairly complete. There's the registration card that comes with it, and talks about the different grips and the installation process and so on. So the next step is, let's get started removing the old grips and get these installed. Okay, so we're going to remove the grip here. Try to get something up under here, but it is apparently glued pretty well. So I'm going to take a utility knife and work on cutting the grip off. Just going to make a lighter first pass. Honestly, I hate to cut the grip because these are perfectly good grips, but I need to get in there to get the new ones on. So I can feel that I'm at the bottom. Lay the utility knife down, get a good grip on this, and start to just peel it off. So as you can see on the right hand grip, we've gotten the, on the throttle, gotten the old grip off. The grip is very thin over here, so I was able to peel that off, and then I took a blade and cleaned this off. You can even sand this down to get it smooth enough. The key is that you want it smooth enough so that when you slide the new grip on, that it will go on relatively easy. Now it's starting to get tight there, but we're going to have some super glue in here that'll help lubricate that as we move it forward. One very important thing is take into account, since you have this wire coming off of these heated grips, take into account the rotation of the throttle grip. Make sure that you install it at such an angle to where it's not like that, so it'll come up too much, to where it's down slightly. And again, the directions show a good illustration. So we can take it and then install it. The main thing is you don't want the wiring coming up and getting in the way of your brake or anything else really. So if I install it at about that angle, I'm going to look at it here and do a bit of a dry fit. See, so I've got the grip on there part of the way, but I can get an idea. That's full. Well, it's slid a little bit, but that is full throttle opened up right there. So I might turn it down just a little bit more. And most of my riding is going to be about like that anyway, but full throttle. That'll work great. So just get a reference. In this case, I can see a mold line on the grip that runs right here. So I can line that. That's almost lining up with the mold line on my throttle cover. So that'll give me a good indication right there. So the next step is to take the included glue, or you can use, if you have another favorite glue, I'm going to put a little bit around the inside of the grip here and some on the throttle housing. So I have that glued up there, and I'm going to go ahead and line up my marks, which will be about right here, and go ahead and shove that on. And make sure that you get it far enough up so that you have the end of the bar exposed, so that if you want to put your end bar end weights on. In my case, I have brush guards, bark busters that go around, but that gives me plenty of room there. So that is seated as far as I want it seated. So now we'll move over and do the left side. All right, so here we are on the left-hand side of the handlebar, and I've got the left grip. And this one, since obviously this one doesn't rotate, so you want to install it pointing essentially straight down, or however you want that positioned. And again, we're fitting, this one is going to be pretty tight, but hopefully we'll get that driven up on there. Again, on this side you can see that I've gotten that smoothed down to where it's a nice smooth surface to slide the grip up on there. So let's go ahead and put our glue on the surface. It's going to run down. And then let's go ahead and slide. And get that positioned where you want it before that super glue sets up. And right there. So there, we have our Oxford grips installed on both the left and the right hand side now. If you have any residual glue coming out of the end of the handlebar here, just wipe that up before it dries. And the next thing is we will start routing our wiring. Okay, so now that I have the grips in place, it's about routing the wiring. On the right hand side, you can see I've got the grip in place, and the key thing is you want to make sure that your throttle never binds. So I'm able to pull back and it returns fluidly back to its stop. That's very important from a safety perspective with any motorcycle, that you always want your throttle to be able to do that. Now I have the cable routed down and under. I don't want it looping too big for things to get caught in it, but I do have it where it comes under, and I cable tied it right here to begin following the wiring harness that's coming from that right control module. And I'm routing it down through the guides, and as you can see, it's coming out under here. I'm going to do the same thing on the left hand side, essentially cable tying here and letting it follow the existing factory harness down through the guides and back under where the tank would be. So let's go ahead and wire up this side. Since the left grip does not turn, we don't have to worry about any sort of allowing for enough play. So I put one tie here. I don't see the need for putting a bunch of cable ties along. I'm just going to run it through, and then of course here is our left and here is our right grip, heated grip connector. Okay, so the next step is to install our intelligent heat control module wherever we want it on the bike. Now, the control module is, you have a length of protected cable, the wiring harness, of course one of these plugs goes into one grip, this goes to the other grip, and then this connector, this male connector, goes to the power source, the harness that's included that attaches to your power source. So the next dilemma is, okay, where are we going to mount this? I've seen people mount them up here on the panel, and I'm seriously considering that location, just using some double stick tape. It fits nicely in there, it blends well, but my only concern is riding down the road, how easy it's going to be to adjust this up and down. So the kit comes with this mounting bracket, this metal plate that would work great. It has pre-drilled holes that line up with the holes in the module, so you could put the provided screws in there. It'd be a nice secure mount. But then where do you put it on the bike? It has two holes here that apparently were meant to attach to one of the screws that holds the mirror mount and the clutch mount. I'm not real sure how that will work, to be honest with you. This tab, they're not going to line up, so I could cut off part of this tab and use this one bolt to mount it there. It would be a bit of an angle, but I do like the idea of having that close at hand to adjust it up and down, rather than putting the mounting harness up on the panel somewhere. Okay, so now we have all the wiring completed, have the wiring routed in. And so I decided to put it down here, and you'll see with the black mount, it blends nicely with the rest of my bike. That silver mounting plate just kind of stood out, so I hit it with some flat black paint. It actually was heat resistant paint, but hit it with some flat black paint, and it blends really nicely with the rest of the mount here. Okay, so from here I can now easily reach over. I decided to put it on this left grip, as you can see, and I really like it here. I don't want to have to take my hands off to reach up to the panel to turn them on and off. Here, if they're getting a little too warm, I can just reach over and tap. So to turn these on, you just simply hit the plus button, and as you can see, the 30% LED is on, so the grips are heating up now. And then as you move up, you can see that it's now at a 40%, 50, 75, and then the full 100% heat, which is the hottest setting, of course. Now you'll see, we'll let it sit here for a little bit as the grips heat up. Since the bike is not running, there's no vibration on that module. So it knows, obviously, that we're not riding. So what it'll do is you'll see this this green LED start flashing here in the middle, letting you know that it's going to power off, and then after so many seconds, it will completely power off. There we go. So now, see, it's warning to let you know that it's going to start shutting down. And even though the grips are pretty warm right now, it's letting me know that it's going to power off, go into low power mode. Again, this is for your benefit to save your battery. So if you get off the bike and accidentally leave your grips on and you do have it wired directly to your battery, it's smart enough to know that you're not riding and it will power it off. So in summary, the installation of the Oxford Heaterz grips was relatively easy. I've had a chance to ride with these grips in temperatures as low as 20 degrees. Went on another ride at about 30 to 35 degrees, so right around the freezing mark. And then I had another ride that was around the 40 degree mark, outside air temperature. So first of all, on the ride around 40 degrees outside air temperature, you can imagine with the winds blowing, the wind chill factor, I originally turned the grips up to 100% initially. It seemed to take around 5 minutes before the grips were really warm. But boy, once they got warm, they were extremely warm. In fact, I had to turn it back down to around 50% because it seemed too hot. And I was riding at that point with my summer weight gloves, leather gloves, but they were lighter weight. I ended up keeping the grips down around 30 to 40% to be comfortable with them, but it was nice and toasty warm. On the other extreme, I went riding for a night ride, and the temperature was around 20 degrees Fahrenheit outside. And I did have on my heavyweight, winter weight riding gloves, insulated and waterproof. With those gloves, I ended up turning the temperature up to 100%. And it was, I could feel it through the gloves, very nice. It kept the inside of my hands nice and warm. I'm very happy with the heated grips. At first, I didn't think it would make that much of a difference, but it has made a big difference. Now, true, you're only going to use these in the colder weather months, but if, like me, you like to try to ride year-round, it's really nice to help in those late fall, winter through early spring riding seasons. You will need some heavier gloves, winter weight gloves. This does not keep the entire hand warm, but it does help on the inside when you're holding onto the grip. I hope this installation has helped you understand what it's like to install these. I do recommend the Oxford grips. I've had several people recommend them to me, and they weren't steering me wrong. So if you think this would be a good fit for you and your bike, pick up a pair and install them. It's nice and easy. Hope that helps keep you warm. So as always, thanks for watching. This is Tim Two Wheels, and that's how I did it.